Hi guys, it's Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker here, and I wanted to talk to you about something that a lot of my high performance clients and even myself for a long time felt a real challenge with. That is how to sit and do nothing. So that's what today's little live episode is going to be about. So whenever you're watching this, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram or on my Facebook page, welcome. I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore. You can find me on nikkiFogdenMoore.com or come and follow on Instagram, my YouTube channel, Vitality Coach TV, or the podcast Radical Self-Belief, the Mojo Maker Show. Today's message is really important because I feel that everyone's chasing success and hustle. They want to have really good months, years, a lifetime in business. We want to have happy families. We want to be healthy. We want to look our best, be our best, do our best, have enough, all these things, set goals. We're always hustling, doing different things. But one thing that is so vital in the balance of all of that is the actual art of just being in nature or sitting on your patio or reading a book, of not being on, of not being having to do something, of not having to be something, of not having to be anywhere or schedule something. Just actually the art of doing nothing. And I don't mean that in a way that you're never going to work again or you're opting out of your business because you've burnt yourself out. That's actually the point we don't want to get to. We want to actually have the art of work-life blend, the ability to turn ourselves into the most organic, emotional, physical, and intellectual versions of ourselves, where we can know when we're slightly pulled off track and we need to slow down, and we build elements into each day that allow us to have sustainable success. And that's really everything that I coach on. It's not achieving your best wins. It's not getting to your highest goals and then losing everything because it's built on a tower of quicksand, because you've exhausted yourself through the process. You've exhausted all your resources, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, whatever. But the fact is that you can enjoy the journey, and at any point in time, you can allow yourself and give yourself the permission just to press pause and know that your pizza order, which is what I call it in my next book, is your pizza order, your utopia order, your best thing that you're going for. That's already set if you've got the best of intent behind it. But most importantly, what you need to do is allow yourself the time to integrate, to relax, rejuvenate on a regular basis. So not waiting for that big holiday or waiting for that moment of freedom, but you've got to give yourself permission in every single day to just sit and do nothing. So a great way to do this is even just the moment when you wake up, before you get up. That's a really sacred sanctuary time where you can just be grateful for a second and listen to your breath and set your intent for the day, and make sure that you don't wake up full of anxiety and worried about things, but you allow a grounded force set for the day where you just do nothing, just for like 30 or 60 seconds. You wake up and you have that amazing space between waking and getting up, and you feel that you have set your intent by not rushing into the day, by not rushing your thoughts, but by allowing some space. And that space then can help carry you through with a little bit of intent and purpose and gratitude throughout your day. So yes, it's always going to be busy. Yes, the more you do, the more responsibility you have, the more you want to create in your life, the bigger you want your business to be, the more staff you have, your children. It's endless, right? So the only thing you can control is how you navigate yourself through the tapestry, or what I call the rally of life. Oh, by the way, if you're listening to this as well, we've got this course specials on Radical Self-Belief, the course. Hop on to nikkiFogdenMoore.com or just go into the links below or into any of the bios. So part of the challenge of being able to do nothing is that we're so conditioned actually to doing something all the time. We're so conditioned to hustle. We're conditioned to fighting for our goals. We're conditioned to having to prove that we're working on something. We're really bad at just trusting the process and go, well, I think I've done enough today. And the most important thing is I'm going to have a little bit of self-care, but I'm also just going to soak up the environment. I'm going to spend some time in nature. I'm going to spend some quality time with my partner or my kids. I'm not going to be on the phone. I'm going to be in the moment. Doing nothing is exceptionally important for your body, mind, and soul to reconnect and to kind of recharge your batteries. It's like putting your iPhone on a docking station. So we never let our iPhone battery get that low, but we certainly let our own batteries metaphysically, physically, and emotionally get drained on a daily basis. That's the Labrador trying to come in. So today's little message is to remind you that there is an art to doing nothing. And it doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you're not going to create all your goals. But what it does mean is that you allow yourself the space to be full of gratitude and full of awareness for where you're already at. So what you already have is enough. What you're already doing is enough. And you need to allow yourself to enjoy the space of just sitting. So 3 cool things that I said to my clients this week is, are you aware that coaching or doing work or working on your business, whatever it is, doesn't have to be like this full-time, like per hour thing where it's like a regimented, transformative process according to 9 to 5, or whatever it is. There is a very organic nature. The biggest force on the earth is water, of course, the ocean, and that has ebbs and flows, just like the moon and the sun and everything else. It's got its own natural frequency and the ability for plants and everything else to go around this ecosystem of nature. So ocean ebbs and flows is the same thing with our emotions, with our days, with our goals, with how we do things. We have to allow ebbs and flows. You can't have a torrent of waves and full on energy all the time and not allow there to be a sucking back of that energy and a revival of it and a calm. It's very, very, very important. So doing nothing often challenges high performing people. It challenges us in a world where we're constantly on, we're constantly looking at Instagram. I have to say that last night I did go down the rabbit hole of the Inspired Unemployed, and I watched so many of their reels. I laughed my head off. They're so fantastically funny if you like that sort of humor. But the point is doing nothing means really doing nothing. That means, sitting there with a cup of tea, just having 15 to 20 minutes on the patio. Or dare you say it, half a day where you don't have any plans. You don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to do anything for anyone else. And least of all, you don't even have to go and clean, do things, whatever. You just stop and pause. Why is that so important? Because our bodies and our minds and our souls need time to rejuvenate. If you're always on, you're draining every single app in your body. Just like you have when you have your phone, you've got to sometimes get rid of all the apps that are open so it doesn't drain the energy. It's exactly the same with our mental folders. Sometimes we have to close all the mental folders and just sit and stare at a tree. Or I love to watch the ocean with no particular agenda apart from just practicing doing nothing. And those are the most valuable times. What happens if you don't do that on a regular basis? You're hustling and going and you're exhausted, and then you take a break and you go on holiday and you're like, I can't wait for this weekend, or I can't wait for my month away, or whatever it is. But when you get there, you're making sure that that time that you've booked should equate to all the time that you've worked so hard and struggled to get to that holiday. So you're not even in a place where you can enjoy on a daily basis the feeling of freedom and the feeling of just being really happy with wherever you are at right now. And that brings me back to the first point about intent. If you've got clear goals that are really aligned, they resonate with you, then trust that process. I call that true trust, not just fake trust. We're like, yeah, I've set my goal board and it's all really cool. And then behind the scenes, you're like, oh my God, I don't know how it's going to happen. You're stuck in disbelief. You have to trust all the time. And being able to trust all the time means knowing that feeling that you've already made it. Wherever you are, you're exactly where you're meant to be. It's a cliche, but it's actually very, very true, because there is no literal time like the present. This is it. This is our only reality. If you're not able to actually be present and slow everything down and realize that all the work you're doing, you could probably do a third of the effort if you're a high performer like me, and you get just as many results. So take the pressure off yourself and ask yourself, why do I find it so hard to relax? Like properly relax, not relax scrolling social media, not relax with Netflix blaring to switch your mind off, not relaxing by gaming or drinking or anything else, but just purely sitting, and that's where Buddhism and the art of breath come in, and all those tools that can help you slow everything down and give your body the best elixir possible, which is your natural breath. And that's so, so, so important, because that breath that you have, that ability to connect with yourself, that ability to school yourself through away from pressure and burden and overwhelm and back into a sense of calm and cognitive conscious thinking, that is worth $1 million, because that will keep you on track. It will keep you grounded. It will keep you well on a cellular level. It will reduce anxiety and stress, And really, it's the most simple thing of all, but it is the most challenging to actually take time out to do nothing. So for me this Easter, I'm actually going to have an Easter where I've got no appointments. I've got a great couple of things that I have to do tomorrow that I'm really looking forward to. But apart from that, I've got no agenda. And I did that on purpose. I didn't want to have to look at my watch or be anywhere at a certain time. I wanted to just see how the day flowed and allow things to come up and to slow everything down, because I've got really busy weeks. I want to be there for my clients when we're back after Easter, and I really want to enjoy the weather or the nature or the environment. And that's the way that I recharge my brain and also my body with the high performing little world that I live in. However, I don't just wait for the weekend to do that. I have a lot of moments throughout my day where I really take note to go for a walk in nature or to sit outside with a cup of tea or coffee and just be. And that gives me the ability to think clearly, to stay fresh, and to reduce the number of subconscious self-doubt, fear-based conversations that often raise their ugly head when you are busy and you're overwhelmed. You start to have all those kind of subconscious patterns come in, and that's a very tiring place to sit. So I probably could describe this in a different way. If you really wanted to connect with your higher self, let's call that the capital S self, then you need to go to a quiet place where you can really hear what that voice is telling you. And the only way to do that is to stop, is to turn off all the white noise, is to reduce all the external factors and just be comfortable with doing nothing just for a second. Your inner subconscious programming, which by the way, you should not be afraid of, it's very important to recognize that, people call it the ego, is part of who you are. So don't criticize it or say I'm going to get rid of my ego, because that in itself is an egoic statement. You've just got to have that radical acceptance. Mine's called Bob, and I go, I'm not listening to you, Bob. Thank you very much. But I know my higher self is quiet and knowing and calm and collected. And that's the best place to operate from. So you can do that by listening to your breath, by walking away from your computer, by carving out time during your day where you've got nothing that you're doing. You're just sitting. That's the first place to start. And if people ask you what you're doing, just say, I'm practicing doing nothing. And that is giving you the ability to intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and physically come back into yourself, to regenerate your own ecosystem. And from there, you'll make better decisions. You'll be able to listen when you go off track a lot earlier and not let yourself get into a state of exhaustion, overwhelm, burden, and anxiety. Those are not co-requisites for success. So I hope this really, really helped today. It's short and sharp. Well, short enough for me. I always rattle on along a bit. But it is really, really crucial. And hopefully the captions work with my hilarious accent. But if they didn't, you can find out more on nikkifogdenmoore.com. Just drop a comment. This video will be available on Vitality Coach TV, and also I'll probably put a blog up about it too, because I think it's so important to really feel okay just to sit and do nothing without any agenda. Stare at your plants, look at the ocean, whatever you need to do. Not about a conversation. It's actually just reconnecting with yourself. It's the most valuable tool you can do. And a couple little takeaways. The greatest gift you can self is not take everything so personally. You know, stop being a reactive force to the outside world, because everyone's just doing their thing in their way and it probably has nothing to do with you. Hold your vision, slow yourself down, enjoy your day, and stop waiting for things to get better. Instead, focus on what's already going right, because there's so much that we already have. We're so busy creating goals and next goals and new goals, and that it's never enough. But if you change all that around and you know you're exactly where you're supposed to be, you've set your goals up anyway, you've got the highest intent, it's for all the right reasons, and you've got to trust the process. And by allowing yourself those little mini nano breaks, that is through all my books, by the way, then you are giving yourself the chance to integrate that feeling and to understand what that is on a cellular level. There's only one way to do it. It's not by an app. It's not through someone else guiding you through a meditation. It's not through anything other than you just being comfortable by sitting by yourself and doing nothing. So practice that for a little bit. I know some of you will be going, oh, I find that really easy. Well, you're not the issue. It's those of us that are constantly on, constantly feeling like we have to do something. I know a lot of mothers out there as well that work really hard and run businesses, or even just don't, but they're just, you know, there's a lot of guilt going around. Are you being the best mother? Are you being too selfish? There's so many responsibilities that people have these days. And also guys that feel like want to provide for their family, but there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. if you didn't spend some time allowing yourself downtime, even for 10 to 15 minutes, then you're missing the opportunity to really connect with who you are and listen and receive to the messages that you can be given in those moments. Allow yourself time on a cellular level to regenerate on a daily basis. So I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore. I'm the Mojo Maker. You can find me on nikkifogdenmoore.com. I hope you love this. If someone else you love would need to hear this right now, please like and share it. That'd be amazing. All this content is free. I'm not the first person to talk about it, but maybe you've stumbled across this because you just needed to hear it right now. Give yourself permission to do nothing. Give yourself permission to have a cup of tea, make a long glass of water, and just pause for a second and soak everything up that you've achieved. And if you are listening to this around the Easter holidays, then I hope you have a terrific time. If you're stressed about it and you feel you have to put yourself across all places, then you're doing it all wrong, because we should be enjoying this time and slowing down and being grateful for what we have. And that's the art of finding your flow and understanding that what's meant for you will never pass you by. And there is enough for everyone, but you are enough. You've already probably done enough, and allow that process to unfold for you. I hope you enjoy this little live, and I wish you the most fantastic rest of the day, evening, or morning whenever you're listening to this. And please come and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Vitality Coach TV, or Radical Self-Belief, the podcast. You can also sign up for my weekly Monday Mojo on nikkifogdenmoore.com. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate that. And I hope that one of you took away something so valuable today. And stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. See you later.